Look at
Can you
you.
see me?
I can see you.
How you doing?
You look beautiful.
Oh, you too. Thank you. I've been getting Botox. Not really, but I
Oh,
should.
God. I don't like hearing that one.
I'm
It's,
kidding.
it's so good to see your face.
Yeah. Right back at you. I can't wait to get out there.
We'll take good care of you like we always do.
Of course, you guys are the best. How you doing?
I'm all right. It's been interesting for a couple of years, you know?
That was some weird shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll get into it.
We were in Europe when everything went to hell, but we had a tour that we were going to do right after we got back, or club. But then, of course, that got canceled, and we were going to be out there. But obviously, 5 years later, here we are.
Yeah. We were sitting on 9,000 tickets sold. You guys were the headliner.
That's
And
so
then
depressing.
stupidity kicked in.
I know. Well, that's depressing.
I'm trying to tell you how much people love you. All right.
No, well,
They
we
you
love it.
guys.
We love coming there. The festival. I've always heading to Council Bluffs and all. It's always been one of those things that like, well, you guys were obviously early supporters of the band, but even the people there, it's just a different vibe. We just like getting out there, and it's one of the earliest places where we're like, whoa, we're a real band. You know what I mean? And they're real fans and stuff. So um, we always look forward to getting out there. I'll always have a soft spot for, is it, I don't know, I hope I don't butcher, Sokol.
Yeah. Sokol. Yeah.
Sokol, okay. I'll always have a soft spot for that place because I know I get it. Some people don't like it. It's old. It's an old venue, but there's something really cool about those spots. There's something great about new places too. They always have good PAs and that. But those kinds of venues are how we started. So I'll always like those tiny little dreary beat up clubs more than most.
Yeah. Sokol Auditorium was a Czech museum for Czechoslovakia and all the history.
Really?
They had
Is there that many Czechs out there?
I guess so. And they had
Well,
a
they had to go somewhere.
gymnasium. They had a gymnasium inside Sokol, but you never knew it.
Yeah, no, you can kind of tell in there. I mean, because the flooring, I might be an idiot, but it seems like it looks like basketball flooring or something.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't know that our manager's actually from there. So he told me. I know. I was kind of like, what?
What? Who's your manager?
His name's Chris Nilsson. He works with 10th Street Entertainment. They do like Five Finger and some of those. You might have met him along. He's been around forever, but he's from out there, which tripped me out because he's such a snooty prick. No, I'm just kidding. He's okay. But no, I that took me by surprise because it's not a place you hear a lot of people say, oh, that's where I'm, that are in LA at least.
Well, they just totally revamped it and taken it to the next level, but it's still at the bare minimum, like the bones, the structure. You're going to have that vibe.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you never, you don't want to change. I'm sure even kids, that have been going there for a long time will, you don't want to change that because it's like fucking up someone's childhood a little bit.
Those memories. We look back on them. Yeah. Is LA like that? Is LA like just a little punk ass town to you or what?
Yeah, LA's been torn down and rebuilt to the point where it's just like, that LA lost all its character a long time ago. Like when we grew up in Hollywood, it had the glory days, and then it had fallen on. It was a bad area then, and there were a lot of gangs, drugs, those kinds of things, and then they wanted to clean it up to turn it back into like a tourist attraction.
Right.
So all the cool stuff, all the stuff with character, the old bars, and the the hangouts from the 30s and 40s, they all got turned into like Buffalo Wild Wings and strip mall shit. So Hollywood, unfortunately, we actually had a buddy. He owned the Powerhouse, which was one of the older bars in Hollywood. He was like third generation, and they were attached to a building that they were trying to convert into a mall, but he wouldn't sell for years and years and years, and they couldn't build the mall until he did. And I think they finally gave the dude, like, this thing was probably 200, 300 square feet. It was tiny, the size of a hotel room, this tiny dive bar. I think they gave him like $8 million because they just had to get him out of there. They couldn't move. The whole corner of Hollywood and Highland could not be worked on unless this dude sold his bar. And now, and so all those places that had the character and the weird vibe are pretty much gone. Now they're just fucking Targets and Chipotle's like everywhere else, unfortunately.
If we dig in deep, we'll find it. It's there.
They need to start protecting some of the stuff. I mean, in LA, if you go out to like Pasadena, there's still like old houses. Keep in mind, an old house in LA is like the 20s. That's considered, because it's, LA wasn't really settled. It didn't really become a metropolis till the turn of the last century. So old there is like the 20s and 30s. Obviously, if you're on like the Eastern Seaboard, that's way different. But all those have been pretty much refurbished by some hipster asshole, and they ruin everything. Those fucking hipsters.
I can't stand them either.
They ruin beer. They ruin coffee. They're ruining real estate.
We'll just blame it all on them.
Yeah.
So the tour that you're going to be coming into town with is with N9ne, who's literally 2 hours away from us. Kansas City.
He's very close. That's why I think you guys are either the first or second stop. I know because we're rehearsing out there in Kansas City. So I think we bone right out to you guys. So you'll get the worst one of the tour, because we won't know what the fuck we're doing, because it's been a while. So.
Beautiful. I want it that way. I just want it that way. Nothing but your gut to lead you through it. You haven't practiced the same songs, the same moves, the same J-Dog goes over here while I go over there.
Well, luckily, we've never practiced any of that. That was all just drunken intuition.
It's paid off.
It works. It works. No, yeah. Hopefully, we'll have some new stuff, too, since obviously it's been a long enough time where we'll at least have new songs and stuff to play for everybody, since it's been, 2 records, I think, since we've been there.
Well, this new record, Hotel California, it's your 8th album.
I know, that's depressing, huh?
Well, at this point, like, seriously, what else do you have to say?
Well, that's a good. I mean, well, the good thing is if you live life, you always get new material. If you're out. If I'm not, I just do like ayahuasca or something, and then write about a different plane of existence.
You'll come up with something.
If you live hard enough when you're young, you never run out. So that's why I never understood how these nerds who play video games. There's nothing wrong with that. But where do they come up with lyrics? I'm like, bro, your whole life is Call of Duty.
How do you get inspired by sitting there? I don't understand it either.
Drugs. That's the only way.
They're like zombies.
I know. No, the video game culture. I mean, geez, Louise, I'm a big, I like RP. I love the Final Fantasy games and stuff. When I was young, but those games all end. You play for 2 days and it's over. When I was, Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, all those. Right. The early PlayStation games, they have an ending. Now they're just these open world games that you could play forever. So that's troublesome.
All right. So you guys, N9ne, King ISO, who's from Omaha.
He's from out there.
Isn't it weird? What a small world.
Dude, he's buff as fuck.
I see him. He looks like it. Would you be scared if you saw him in an alley?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I would certainly be like, this isn't going to go good. But he's awesome. He's like nice as can be. So is Tech. Both those guys are like sweet as, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Great, super talented dudes. We did a song with Tech on our last album. And we went out. This is peak COVID too. We went to Kansas City. He's got like a whole compound for his record label, and it's crazy. So we went there to shoot the video, and he was the coolest dude in the world. And I did the most white guy shit ever. Is I introduced him to White Claw, and I'm still a little ashamed of that. It was during the White Claw revolution. He's like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh, because I can't drink." It was early, so I couldn't drink liquor. So I was like, "I'll get some of the White Claw." He's like, "What?" But he liked it. So I apologize for turning Tech on the White Claw.
Wow, I'm really embarrassed. All right, I'm going to rattle off names, okay?
Sure.
And you tell me first thing that comes to your mind. All right?
Fair enough.
Okay, Skrillex.
Sonny. I've known that kid since he was a little kid. We grew up with him. So I always just think of his real name.
What's his real name?
Sonny.
Sonny?
Yeah. Him and my brother were best friends growing up. So we had a band called Three Tiers, our first band, and Sonny and my brother, when they were little kids, would always come to our shows. So I've known him since he was maybe 9 or 10.
Wow.
and I was in my teens. So we had that band. We would play the whiskey in the local Troubadour, the clubs in Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
And him and my brother were best buddies. So they would always come to the shows when they were little kids. And then he obviously joined from first to last. And, now he does what he does. But we've known him since he was, 10 years old. Him and my brother are still close friends.
What a small world. All right.
I know.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Nickelback.
I don't have a word. I don't get the vitriol towards Nickelback. I never
you
have.
don't
I've never
despise
understood
them?
it. No. Like
You love them?
No. They're a solid rock band. I don't see that they're doing anything wrong. It's almost like what's the Guy Fieri guy? Like people just hate him, and I never understood what their beef is. He has a TV show. He's a cool dude. Nickelback, they write solid rock songs. There's a bunch of bands that they ushered in, from what I remember. They kind of came out, and then there was a lot of bands that kind of followed suit that don't get any of that flack. But I've never understood the disdain that Nickelback gets. I think it's one of those things where it's just cool not to like them, and people are such followers that they go, oh yeah, fuck Nickelback, because someone else, it's cool to think that. But Nickelback is not a bad band. It's not my thing, because I like darker music in general. When I listen, more maybe different emotionally, but there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, in my opinion.
That's a good opinion.
If I was those guys too, they're probably each worth $20-30 million. I wouldn't care all that much either.
They're laughing all the way to the bank.
I think they're doing okay.
Yeah. All right. Goldfinger.
Feldy.
Yes.
I know Feldman fairly well. One of my best friends is his wife's sister. I've recorded with him on one occasion. I did an appearance on a Red Jumpsuit Apparatus song.
Wow.
Super nice. Yeah. Long time ago. Super nice dude. A very talented guy. And all around sweet person. Very talented. Obviously puts out. His production career has outshined his band. Very talented dude.
When he first started, he had Story of the Year and The Used.
I remember The Used were like the first band that kind of put him on the map as a producer. Obviously, The Used blew up. I've heard a story. They threw the demo on a Goldfinger stage when they were playing.
Really?
This is the story I heard. Yeah. And he picked it up. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. And so Feldman took the CD and actually went and listened to it and said, oh, this is good. And he was trying to get into production. And that's how it all went down. That's what I heard. So don't quote me, but it sounds pretty accurate. And, he did a lot for those dudes. He's done a lot of great stuff. And he's responsible for quite a few bands and producers. Like, he's one of those dudes that guys go and work for him and kind of go off on their own and have a lot of success because of what they learned from him.
And to think he started, like the way I know it from when we've talked, he was selling shoes, all right, at the mall. And doing music on the side. Obviously loved singing and was the front man, thought about producing, got into it, and then we would talk and he'd say, man, I feel like this person did me wrong. Like, they left me and went to someone else. And I said, don't worry, just give it some time. I swear they're going to circle back. He said, you think so? And they did.
Yeah, they always do. I mean, dude, we've worked with a bunch of different producers, and it's always one of those weird marriages where people get bummed out. But,
Right.
Producers become like another member of the band almost if you work with them enough, and it becomes too routine. I've always been of the opinion that good music comes out of like uncomfortability. And if you're, like any relationship, if you kind of settle for what it is, things usually go bad. But you're absolutely right. All those bands, for the most part, have all gone back to him.
Yeah.
But he's a super talented dude, and he knows how to know how to bring out the best in a band. That's really your job, and he's very good with that.
I'm really proud of John. He did it.
Oh, he crushes. He's huge.
Papa Roach.
Oh, those are my boys. I love those guys. We've been touring with them for like 3 years straight. That's who we were on tour with before, during the COVID thing in Europe. We did another one with them in Europe. We've done 3 runs with them in the States, all since COVID. So like, we kind of got married at the hip and worked a whole cycle together. But they're the nicest dudes that I know of in music. I mean, they're awesome to tour with. Probably the best live rock band that I'm aware of now. I don't know anybody
Really?
who puts on a show that good. No, dude, those guys been doing this for what, 25 years or something.
Yes.
And you would think every show they play is the first show because they love it that much. And
That's a rare thing.
Professionals like that who really, really love it. It definitely makes you consider how fortunate you are. And those guys know, like, dude, we're the luckiest guys in the world. They're like that Lou Gehrig speech, you know, like they never take any of it for granted. And every night they play, night in, night out, you would think it's the first show they ever played because they're so enthusiastic. They love what they do. And I've always felt that people can pick up on that. Even if you're good live, but you'd rather be somewhere else, there's a sixth sense for, like, I saw John Fogerty once. I love the Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Really?
And he was perfect. Everything sounded perfect. But the whole time you kind of get the sensation the dude could be doing something else. And it's like, and I get it. He's been doing it for 50 years. I don't blame him. But Papa Roach is one of those bands where you feel like every night is special. And I just admire that. And they're amazing songwriters, super talented dudes. Everybody in that band is so good at what they do that just super solid. And, you know, when people are cool on top of that, it makes you like them that much more. Because I've had the opposite where someone's a dick and it made me not like their music anymore.